At present, we are studying the transportation of water and as well as minerals, and same way the transportation of food in plants. Means what kind of parts of plant is transporting food and as well as water and other minerals from the one part to all the other regions of the plant. So in last class we have discussed that regarding transportation of water and as well as the minerals which has been present in the soil. So that is what we can say, the mechanism of transport of water and minerals in a plant. So if you are discussing this regarding this mechanism of transport of water and minerals, totally we need to study 4 parts. So one is called as root hair. What is that?
Root hair.
And the next one is called as root xylem. So when the water is traveling from or is transporting along with the mineral from root hair to root xylem, middle we used to get 3 parts. What are that?
Root cortex, epidermis, endodermis.
Epidermis and the middle epidermis to endodermis. Somebody is there.
Root cortex.
Root cortex.
Root
Root cortex.
Root
Cortex.
cortex will be present. So this is what we have studied in the last class. Kevin, are you there? Absentees yesterday's. So now let us discuss this once again. So as we know that we have a last end of the root, we have a small hairy leg structures. That is what we used to call as root hair. So this root hair is direct contact with the soil particles where we have a film of water. So this film of water means what it contains, Ra? It is containing what? A dissolved
water.
minerals. Is it yes or no?
All minerals.
Dissolved minerals means in the sense of like nitrates, phosphates and all. They are being dissolved in with the water and they will be in which solution?
Aqueous solution.
Aqueous solution. So now here you can observe, as we know that according to the chemical process, if any kind of substance, for example, I have taken once again, I am saying you, suppose I have kept here some kind of sugar particles or any kind of particles. So now if I'll keep it in water, then slowly they will start dissolving in it, and the concentration, this is called as high concentration and this is called as low concentration, means zero.
Low concentration.
So once it is start dissolving, that sweetness of the sugar has been equally distributed throughout to the liquid. So this process means the substance, the solute is dissolving in the solvent and the concentration is distributing equally. So this process is we used to call it as what? Diffusion. Do you understand it? Diffusion we used to call it. Now, the same way here, between here if you observe here, a film of water in a soil particle, the concentration of dissolved minerals and water is much more. So here nothing will be present because these are 2 different substances. So by the process of diffusion, the aqueous solution means the dissolved state of minerals has been absorbed or enter into the root hair by the process of what? Diffusion. Do you understand, all of you? That is what. Now, here the root hair means it has been entering into the root hair by the process of diffusion. So till here it is everything root only. This is all called as root hair. Now it has been absorbed by the root hair. Now from here, root hair to the epidermis, you can see here between them, they are all called as we can say like a barricades. The process called as, what is that process, Ra? What is that process?
Osmosis.
Osmosis.
You observe very carefully. Means 2 different concentrations will be. Here, high concentration to 0 concentration it will be go. Here, middle we have some kind of membrane, semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. So across this Across this membrane, the concentration variations will be distributed, means from high concentration to low concentration, to attain the equal concentration. To attain the equal concentration.
Equal
You
concentration.
understand? Suppose here high concentration of sugar is present, and here low concentration of sugar is present. Then this is
Really?
low
Sir.
concentration, and this is high concentration.
High
So with
concentration.
this help of this membrane, so the concentration of the sugars is equally distributed. This process is only used to called as what? Osmosis.
Osmosis.
So, except the root hair and the film of water, means between the soil particles remaining everywhere in the plant, remember, everywhere in the plant, the process which will take place from epidermis to root cortex, next root cortex to endodermis. You observe very
Endodermis.
carefully here. Epidermis to root cortex, next root cortex to endodermis, next endodermis to root xylem, next root xylem to which xylem, Ra?
Xylem
Root
vessels
xylem to
system.
xylem vessels in the stem, and the next xylem vessels in the stem to leaf xylem.
Xylem.
And leaf xylem, it is entering into a part called as, yesterday I have taught you, what is that part known as? Where the water is entering into the leaf. So particular part it will entering into the leaf, and from there it is distributed throughout the leaf for the process of photosynthesis. What is that? Can you able to say anybody? Yesterday I have taught you. Please tell me. That is called as stack of the leaf, where the water has been reached. So
Xylem.
finally,
Xylem.
it will reaches to the process called as, what is that? Leaf xylem. It will reaches to the leaf xylem. Leaf xylem, it will reaches to the stack of leaf, which we used to call as what?
Petioles.
Petiole. Understand? It will reaches to the petiole. From the petiole, it has been distributed throughout to the leaf for the photosynthesis process. Now, suppose yesterday I have told you, for example, 100 liters of water has been absorbed by the plant by the process of osmosis. Understand? The osmosis and diffusion. So here everywhere which process, Ra? From here epidermis to root xylem, and again from root xylem to xylem vessels of stem, and again xylem vessels to leaf xylem, and leaf xylem to the stack of leaves called as petioles, and petioles to every other parts of the plants. Everywhere which process will take place?
Osmosis.
Osmosis.
Osmosis. So, as we have discussed in last class, if suppose they are observing 100 liters of water, only in that 1 to 2% of water has been utilized by the plant, and remaining all the water has been again evaporated from the leaf, which we have called as, what is the porous medium? What is the porous medium of leaves called as? Stomata. So to the process through the stomata of the leaves, it has been evaporated into the atmosphere again. So that process is only used to called as what?
Transpiration.
Transpiration. Everybody, if you involve in the class, it is very nice. That process is called as transpiration. Means only 2% of water, 1 to 2% of water is utilized by the process for what? Photosynthesis. Synthesis and other biological activities of plants. Biological activities of plants, and remaining all the water activities of plants, and remaining all the water has been evaporated by the process of transpiration. Correct or not?
Transpiration.
So that is means
Yes,
that it is just like 1 or 2 liters of water has been utilized. So this is what we used to call as mechanism of, what is this? Transport of water and minerals in a plant. So this transport of water and minerals in a plant with the help of water, xylem. What is that?
Xylem.
Xylem been transported only in a non-flowering plants. Yesterday I have taught you, in non-flowering plants, been transported by what? Both. What is that? Non-flowering
Xylem vessels and
Tracheids and
tracheates.
xylem
Xylem
vessels.
vessels and tracheates.
So tracheids
Ze-
and that is both it has been takes place only non-flowering plants. So non-flowering plants, the tracheids, they are also understand they are plants have tracheids. They are only water conducting tissues in non-flowering plants, and flowering plants both it will takes place either only xylem vessels transport water or both xylem vessels and tracheids transport water.
Tracheates.
Do you understanding? Flowering plants, maybe it may transport the water and the minerals, dissolved minerals by transfer xylem vessels or by xylem vessels and tracheids.
And
Both
trachea.
they will transport water. But if it comes to the non-flowering plants, what will happen? They have both. What is that? Xylem vessels as well as
And
tracheids, but
tracheates.
they are the only water conducting tissues in non-flowering plants. Do you understanding, Ra? Although all the
Yes,
plants
sir.
have tracheids, but only xylem vessels alone is the transport of water. In where? Non-flowering
Plants, non-flowering plants.
plants. That is what you should remember. This is what the mechanism of it. Now, finally, I can write the mechanism of water and the mineral transport in plants. What is the process, Ra? Can you able to say, please, from first? What is the process? Root hair.
Root hair.
Root hair to next immediately what, Ra? Immediately what is that?
Epidermis.
Root hair
Epidermis.
to
Epidermis.
Epidermis. Epidermis.
root hair to root xylem. Through
Root
what?
xylem.
Epidermis, root cortex,
Yes.
and endodermis.
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 So, root hair to root xylem, it is going by the process of what? Endodermis. Epidermis.
Endodermis.
Epidermis.
Epidermis.
Epidermis. Root cortex.
Epidermis to root
Endodermis.
cortex to
So, epidermis.
endodermis.
Next one, root
Root
cortex.
cortex.
Root cortex.
Root cortex. Next one.
Endodermis.
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 Oh, sorry.
Endodermis.
Endodermis, correct? Endodermis. Endodermis. Next one.
Root xylem.
Root xylem.
Sorry, root xylem. Next one.
Leaf xylem.
Leaf.
Leaf.
Xylem, middle
Leaf
is
Xylem is
Stack,
sir.
sir. Leaf
Xylem in
stack. Petioles.
stems are
vessels in the stem.
stem.
Xylem stem. Understand?
Okay, sir.
Stem. Xylem vessels in the stem. Xylem vessels in the stem.
Stem.
Next one.
Leaf xylem.
Leaf
Leaf xylem.
Petiole.
xylem.
Leaf
Leaf
stack.
xylem.
Next one, it will go to stack
Petiole.
of leaves called as.
Petiole.
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 Later, it will be carried for the biological process, and remaining water will go to the.
Transpiration.
That is what. Please note it down. This is what the process. So till here, please, anybody is having any doubt, call me, ask me, please. Do you understanding or not? Clear?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Note it down. Still one or two is absent. Please make a call for them because next coming is very, very important. That is what I'm saying. Good morning, all of you. Good morning, Prasini, Taranya Pushpa, everybody, Pranav. Still one or two is absent. Please check it. Good morning, Dina. Akhil Irfan. Arun Karthikeyan.
Sir, this is for only non-flowering plants only, no, sir?
This is for non-flowering plants. Flowering plants, tracheids also may include. May only takes place with the help of xylem vessels, or else both may involve. We cannot say that. Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. You want, you can write the 2 points also, please. You already written, I think. I know.
Already last class you said,
You have
sir.
written it, but
Sir,
that is
please
what-
show that, sir.
Yeah. Arun Karthikeyan is not there today. You please make a call for him. Somebody. So this is what the process. Any doubt in this, Kevin? Yesterday's absentees.
So 1 minute, sir, don't change.
Oh, okay. That is what. Dilipan, are you there? Yalini, Dilipan is also absent. What happened? Make a call for him. Dilipan and Arun Karthikeyan. 2 more. Karthikeyan is there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Karthikeyan is there. Arun Karthikeyan and Dilip and somebody just call them. And one more fellow is also missing. Who is that? So okay, is it completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what the mechanism of what we can say the transport of water and as well as mineral in plants. Now we can see we have a immediate question. Sir, how these xylem vessels are sucking water? Sir, plants are growing upwards, correct? Suppose you see our body, everything has been, suppose you can see air is present, air is going downwards. So that, okay, upwards to downwards it will go. So that is what the thing we know that. But in the plants, the water and everything, suppose food you can see, upwards and downwards it is going because it is produced by leaves of the plants, or
Leaves,
green
yes,
parts
sir.
of the plants. But water, from the roots it is going upwards. How it is possible? Suppose you see, if you want to send the water to your terrace, you have to create a pressure in such a way that water should be sucked by the motor. We will keep the motor so that motor will only pump the water. If you will try to pump, it won't be pumped. It won't be carried. Correct or not? If you try to push, water cannot be pumped into upwards. Correct or not? Only the motor only can eject the water at the terrace or high elevations. But here in plants, who is pumping the water? Is there any motor system is there? No. For example, sir, what is the mechanism happening and how the water is absorbed by the xylem vessel? So let us discuss. Now, in our home, or else, how many of you have drank a cool drink or something? Do you have a straw in our home? Straw and glass? Anybody? Anybody? Do you have a straw and a water, a glass of water? If you have, you can do. Or else I will show
So I
you.
don't have
It's okay, no.
straws, sir.
So please, all of you keep heading. Next one. Water is side heading. Water is sucked up by the xylem vessels. Xylem vessels. So now, let us discuss how it is happening. So I won't share the screen because I want to show the experiment. So now, let us discuss. For example, as we know that water is entering to the root hair and finally most of the water is evaporating from the where? By the process of?
Transpiration.
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 Let us discuss in the case of water moves up in xylem vessels in the same way. How? The way that the cool drinks moves up in a straw when we suck at the upper end of the straw. So you may notice it, all of you, just 1 minute or just a second. For example, can you able to see this glass? Please let me know. Can you able to see this glass? Arun Karthikeyan, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now you see, basically while you are going to any shop or something, how you can suck the water, cool drink or anything, cold coffee or something, we used to keep our mouth here and we used to, like that, if you are breathing inside, if you are breathing, trying to breathe inside, means in the sense of, then the cool drink will start coming to the, through the straw and will go inside our mouth. Correct or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Try to understand. So now same phenomena is behind in the same way how the xylem vessels are transporting water from the lower part to upper part. Usually you may observe here, my straw is at the bottom of the plant. Let us imagine this is what the roots. Correct or not? Yes or no?
Okay, sir.
Now, same all of you understanding, yeah, because of atmospheric pressure. Same pressure also here. You can see. So when I'm trying to suck, understanding that the straw, when we suck at the upper end of the straw, I'm trying to suck at the upper end, then what will happen means, now we suck a straw, we are reducing the pressure at the top of the straw. Here, I am sucking, means in the sense of, I am reducing the pressure at the top end of the straw because the air which is present inside this straw Everything I am breathing first. First, when I am breathing, first attempt, it is not cool drink is going first. The air will go inside, so that here inside the whatever the air present inside this cool drink will be sucked. Understanding? So that what will happen at the upper end of this straw, which has been created the low pressure. Do you understanding all of you?
Yes, sir.
You understand, Ra? So that is what, like Nitinath said, atmospheric pressure. So when I am trying to apply, I am trying to suck at the upper end of the straw. When we suck a straw, we are reducing the pressure at the top of the straw, so that the cool drink at the bottom of the straw having high pressure. Having what? Having
High pressure.
that
High pressure.
is only called as atmospheric pressure. What we should call? Atmospheric pressure. That is in the case of cool drink. Do you understand, Jesse? Dina? Everybody. So here
Yes,
what is
sir.
happening? Because of sucking, I am creating low pressure here, and because of here bottom high pressure is there. So as we already know that when the pressure difference is there, always the liquid or anything which will transport from high pressure to low pressure or low pressure to high pressure. Arya? We are creating here low pressure. So here still it is because of here creating low pressure. At the bottom of the glass, it is
It will be
having
high pressure.
or atmospheric
High
pressure. So that what is happening? The liquids which is present here will travel towards the straw because high pressure and low pressure. So that the liquid will be transported from high pressure to low pressure.
High
Always.
pressure to low
Is
pressure.
it or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is what. So the cool drink flows up the straw into our mouth. Understand? Because of here we are creating high pressure by reducing the pressure at the top. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This is the phenomena exactly happening. So by sucking, I am reducing the pressure at this top of this straw, so that the bottom of the straw, it is creating high atmospheric pressure or high pressure. Understand? So that the cool drink is transporting through the straw and it is reaching to my mouth. The same phenomena is behind in the case of root and plant also. So how the water is transported from the root to the leaves means. So leaves, as some process name called as evaporation of water is taking place. What is that? Can you able to say? What is that, Akshaya? Anusri? In the leaves, some process is taking place. What is that process?
Transpiration. Transpiration.
Transpiration. So, in the same phenomena, same thing happens with the water in the Xylem vessels also. So, Xylem vessels is like a cylindrical drain pipes. Correct or not? Same way looks
sir.
like it. So now here
Yes,
what
sir.
is happening means at the top of the plants means in the sense of leaves, because of transpiration, it has been creating the low pressure.
Low pressure.
Top. So, water in the Xylem vessels, the pressure at the top of the Xylem vessels means in the sense of where pressure at the top means where it is happening, the transpiration process. Leaves. So, the leaves is lower where the pressure at the bottom of the Xylem vessels remains high. So remains high due to this water flows of the Xylem vessels into the leaves. So always it is a continuous process. It is not like some days will take place, some days not. So it is a continuous process. So here immediately will take place. Then who is creating this? Who is creating this low pressure at the leaves? That is what our question. So how this pressure at the top of the Xylem vessels is reduced? Because the pressure at the top of the Xylem vessels in a plant is reduced due to what? Due to the phenomena called as? Which phenomena?
Transpiration.
Transpiration. Do you understand?
Transpiration.
Dina, Humaira, please respond. So because of transpiration in the leaves, it has been creating the low pressure, but still in the bottom of the Xylem vessels has been high pressure. So that is
High
why
pressure.
the water has been pumping from lower part of the plant to the upper part. So, as we already know that, what is the transpiration? Anybody define transpiration? Define transpiration. Kevin, define transpiration. Karthikeyan, speak here. What is transpiration? Nobody. Arun Karthikeyan? Aravind? What is transpiration? Tell me, Ra. Dina is saying a process in which plants lose water through their leaves through pores. Pores called as stomata. There is nobody knows what is transpiration.
In the form of water
The
vapor.
evaporation of water from the leaves. Just simple definition you can say. The evaporation of water from the leaves of a plant is only called as transpiration. So the leaves of a plant have a tiny pores on their surface, which we used to call as what? Which we used to call as? Which is known as what?
Stomata.
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 You understand? So, through this stomata, so here if you consider the plants, by the process of transpiration, so lower pressure is creating at the top of the plant.
Leaves.
So
Top
that-
of the plant.
understand? So low pressures are creating at the top of the plant. So that top of the plant, but so still understanding in the bottom of the xylem, what is happening? Bottom of the xylems having
High pressure.
High pressure.
so that water is pumped or transported. Understand? So water has been transported.
Transported from bottom to
Always. Now, what is this transpiration? Transpiration is a process of evaporation. Evaporation of water from the plants is known as transpiration. Correct or not? Yes or no? That is what. So write it. So the evaporation of water from the leaves of a plant, evaporation of still so many I know that. No, don't know. The evaporation of a water.
So slowly, sir.
Yeah, okay. The evaporation of water from the leaves of a plant, water from the leaves of a plant is called transpiration. So this transpiration will occur where? At the leaves. So leaves, at the surface of leaves we have a openings, a pores called as, what is that called as? Answer.
Stomata.
Leaves.
Stomata.
We used to call as between the two cells called as God cells, we have a small pores, that is only we used to call as, what is that? Stomata. So through this stomata only the water has been evaporated continuously, so that is what we should call as transpiration. So because of this transpiration is only what is happening, a lot of water from the leaves keep on evaporating. Even I have told you only just how much amount of water is how much amount of water is
2%.
utilized? Only
1 to 2%.
2% of water is utilized by the plants for all the biological activities of them. Understand? And as well as for photosynthesis. And remaining water and everything is what is happening? Everything is again.
Evaporates. sir.
evaporated.
So their metabolic activities and the photosynthesis, just they will utilize 1 to 2% of water, which is they have been absorbed, and remaining everything has been evaporated through, understanding. Again, go to the air, vapor to the air through the transpiration. So we have a tiny pores on the surface of these plants, means on leaves, called as stomata. So a lot of water from these leaves keep on evaporating into where? Into the where?
Atmosphere.
Into the
Atmosphere.
or into the air by the process called as what? By the process
Transpiration.
of transpiration.
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 This already we have studied. So a lot of water from the leaves of a plant is evaporating or leaving by the process of transpiration. So since the cells of the leaves are losing water by transpiration, so water from the xylem vessels in the leaf will travel to the cell by the process of, again which process? Chemical process. Which process is involved here? Again by the process of lot of amount of water is evaporating. So that
Transpiration, sir.
Transpiration.
but which process it is going from xylem vessels to again upper part? By the process called as How it is how it is going upwards from the lower level to higher level by the process of
Atmospheric pressure.
see, transpiration. Lot of amount of water is going away through the air by the process of transpiration. But xylem vessels bottom to up, how it is going by the process called as in the first picture you may observe. What is the phenomena behind? How it is sucking, how it is going upwards by the process of
Osmosis.
osmosis. That is what you should remember. So, when the huge amount of water is evaporating by the process of transpiration, so water from the xylem vessels in the leaf will travel to the cell. Water from the xylem vessels in the leaf will travel to the cells by osmosis to make up this loss of water. Means once the loss of water has been lost by the leaves, again from the xylem vessels of the leaves, xylem vessels to the leaves, it has been transported by the process called as what? Osmosis to cover the loss of water. To cover the loss of water. Because by the process of transpiration, we are creating what? Low pressures. Low pressure, so that water is traveling from high pressures to low pressures. Do you understanding or not? All of you. Same way like our cool drink. When we are drinking the cool drink, how it is happening, same thing. So here, the water is constantly being taken away from the top of the xylem vessels in the leaves to supply to the cells in the leaves. So this only.
Can you say that low pressure to high pressure, that definition again?
Which one? Water.
How water is sucked up by the xylem vessels?
So listen. So these xylem vessels in the leaf will travel to the cells by osmosis to make up this loss of water, because in leaves we are creating what? We are not. By the nature, by the process of transpiration, it has been creating what? A very low pressures. So xylem vessels have high pressure because of continuous loss of water by the process of transpiration. So that is why water has been pumped by the process of osmosis from the xylem vessels of the leaf will travel to the cells of a leaves by the process of osmosis to make up this loss of water. So because of this continuously loss of water taken away from leaf to the air, these xylem vessels in the leaves, they need to supply the water to the cells in a leaves continuously. So this is only reduces the effective pressure at the top of the xylem vessel, so that the water flows up into them. Understand? From the root soil. You can observe once the water here has been evaporated, in the picture you can see the water has been evaporated from the transpiration by the process of transpiration. So here lower pressures has been created, so that the water which is present in the xylem vessels, which has been transported by the process of water, by the process
Osmosis.
osmosis, it has been supplied to again to the xylem, understanding the plant parts of the plant leaves by the process of osmosis continuously, because here low pressure, here high pressure, so that water has been supplied. Because once here this water has been supplied, then what will happen here? It will create the low pressures, correct or not? So that by the time the water from the xylem vessels of the stem, it has been transported, correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Now, once this water has been transported continuously, then what is happening? At the root xylem, who is having more pressure? Root xylem, we are having more pressure. So that this water has been supplied to the xylem vessels of the stem. So once this water has been supplied, here it will create the low pressure. So here if it will create the low pressures, what will happen? Water will come from where? Water will come from the? Speak. Water will come from the epidermis, and endodermis. Now, here if it water is transported to the root xylem, so here it will create the low pressures. So here if it will create the low pressures, means from where water will come? From?
Xylem vessels.
From where? Xylem vessels again. Where is xylem vessels? Where it is there? What is this part?
Root hair.
Root hair.
You understand? Again you see, again I will come from the first. So as we know that transpiration is creating water. Please tell me, all of you. It is creating what?
Loss of
Low
water.
pressure in the leaves, sir.
Is it yes or no? It is creating
Yes, sir.
low pressure. Now, because of low pressure, to fill that loss of water, leaf xylem is having high pressure, so that water has been transported by the process of osmosis.
Osmosis.
From the leaf xylem to the plant leaves. Is it any doubt
Plant.
in this?
No,
Yes,
sir.
Now,
No,
leaf
sir.
will lose the water because it is continuously supplying to the leaves. So that here, once this water will be loose, so here it will create the low pressure. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
So once here it will create the low pressure, then who will supply the water? Who will supply the water to the leaf xylem?
Xylem vessels.
What? Xylem vessels in the what? Xylem vessels in the stem.
Root xylem.
Correct?
Stem.
So stem will supply the
sir.
continuously it will supply the water to the leaf xylems. Means that by the process of osmosis only. Now, xylem vessels in the stems, how